Good morning. The Pentagon is spending billions of dollars across the Pacific to build out new runways and airfields in the event of a shooting war with China. Their motivation for doing so is that China has an enormous arsenal of missiles, and so our war planners are concerned that our big bases would be targeted right away and taken out, and our planes won't have a place to land. In a war, China could attack our well-known air bases to blow up planes, destroy runways, and cripple air power. So our teams are going out and doing the surveying work across lots of other sites and moving construction crews in. You don't need to be a top military strategist to see some big problems with this idea. China has thousands of ballistic missiles, and they only need a small handful of them to take out an airbase. That said, it may, in fact, be a smart idea to have a handful of super secret airfields that are ready in case war kicks off and our planes need a plan B so they can land somewhere safely. What is most definitely not a smart idea is to talk about it on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. This entire report is from the Wall Street Journal. It's paywalled, but for $20 or so, anybody can read it. They've even included maps and specific details about what is being done in each place, just in case the imagery analysts in Beijing needed help reading their own satellite photos of our air bases. These are the maps that have the Pentagon worried, also helpfully printed on page 1 of one of the most widely read newspapers in the entire world. These are China's missile brigades, and this map is the effective ranges of those China missile units. Everywhere you see a blue dot on this map is where we are upgrading airfields because we're so concerned about those thousands of missiles that China's got. Most of these projects are well within range of China's short-range missiles. Others on Guam, Micronesia, the Philippines, and Singapore are within range of China's intermediate range missiles. The new strategy is called Agile Combat Employment, and the objective is to disperse aircraft so they're not a single target. There's also some flexibility because the planes are not tied to one base. It sounds simple, but it's not. The logistics are hard, providing fuel and parts and maintenance crews are expensive, and there's a strike power problem. Aircraft work in groups, so isolating them may be a survival instinct, but it's not conducive to offensive operations. So all this begs a question: how many of these new airfields do we need? As many as possible, says here. Anywhere we can find an island with 1.5 miles of concrete, we want to look at it. We've got a big map, lots of airfields on it, and we want to get to as many of them as we can. Money, no object. And we are already spending lots of money, and this is how. Baza Air Base in the Philippines, taxiway and new apron, runway upgrades, and a new warehouse. On Tinian, rebuilding North Field, new investments at the international airport and parking spaces for 12 refueling aircraft. This is a secondary fuel hub with storage tanks and pipelines. In case China blows up the storage tanks and pipelines on Guam, we're building some more on Tinian. On Guam, rebuilding several airfields, including Northwest Field, which will be used only when needed. If we do need to turn that one on, first we'll send Air Force air traffic control teams up, then help planes take off and land. That's the plan there. On Yap in Micronesia, $400 million to extend the runway in case our bombers can't land anywhere else. Big projects underway on Saipan and 2 places on Palau. Going out further, large investments in Australia. Darwin for fuel storage and air operations, and in Tyndall, fuel storage and landing sites for B-52s. The Pentagon feels that putting B-52s in Australia seems especially clever because if the war kicks off, China might be worried about hitting our bombers there, if that would mean drawing Australia into the war. Okay, and that's my question about all of it, but not from Beijing's point of view. I want to know about Australia. China is Australia's biggest trading partner. How confident should we be that our heavy bombers, our aircraft that deliver nuclear strikes, would be welcome to land anywhere in Australia if it means that Chinese long-range missiles might be inbound to blow up the whole place? Are we sure that Australia is okay with that? What about these other places, like the Philippines? Have we asked them how they feel about it? Or Micronesia? Or Singapore? Are we certain that Singapore is fine with these big plans to park our bombers right next door to their international terminal? Or is it possible that we're doing all this work only to be told later that the people who live there don't want anything to do with the Pentagon strategy to hide nuclear weapons platforms in their cities? We should not wonder anymore how we managed to spend more than the next 10 countries combined on defense, and yet we still can't beat anybody. It's because of dumb stuff like this. And neither should we wonder why there never seems to be any money available to upgrade our own airports or build out our own infrastructure in the United States, because the Pentagon takes it all. This is Hanshan Temple in Suzhou, Jiangsu province. Be good.
You cannot serve God and money. So do not be worried about your life, what you will eat, or what you'll drink, or what you'll wear. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness,